Hey folks, today is Friday, January 13th, 2016. As always, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about some video game stuff that is going on this week. And the first thing we have to talk about, there's a lot going on. Let's talk about Scalebound. Scalebound, unfortunately, the Xbox One exclusive, has been canceled. It's been a minute since we've heard from the game, but ultimately it still does come as a surprise for a lot of people, and definitely Xbox fans. I see a lot of them freaking out about this, and that's a shame because honestly, this game seemed weird and the protagonist seemed kind of annoying, but the last time we saw it, the demo looked actually really good and it looked like it had some cool stuff going on. But unfortunately, it seems like Platinum and Xbox weren't working together and the project just wasn't coming together. I've heard that there were engine problems, and that's crazy considering they've apparently been working on this game since like 2013. So they put a lot of hard work into this thing, and then Microsoft and Xbox canceled it. So while further down the line, it does seem like there are still some good Xbox games to look forward to. You know, there's Halo Wars 2, hopefully still Crackdown 3, please dear God. But with a lot of games disappearing here and there like Phantom Dust and Fable Legends and now Scalebound, that's disappointing to people who have Xboxes. But since we are talking about Xbox, let's go on the bright side. Phil Spencer has once again been talking up the Xbox One Scorpio. We got a few little details here and there. It's just some little things. First, let's clear things up. This head of Xbox has been answering fans' questions, and the biggest question is, are we going to see this thing at E3 or maybe even before E3? And he said, honestly, he doesn't even know.
If we don't see it at E3, it's not coming out this year.
Yeah, I don't think so.
There's no way you'd be like, oh, and it's coming out.
Because the way he said it, he was like, oh, I'm sure fans would really want to see it, but I don't know yet. So that means not a lot. And interestingly enough, Phil Spencer and other Xbox people have talked about the Xbox One Scorpio's price point very often. But this time around, he said he wants it to be console level price. He says he doesn't want it to be priced like an expensive high-end PC, which is also very interesting because they talk about how spec and usage-wise, they want this thing to be compared more to a PC. But the way I see it, honestly, you can't have it both ways. There's two separate things. PS4 Pro kind of tried to bridge the gap, and However, Xbox gets more time to take a crack at this, and time will tell, but honestly, who knows? Also, interestingly enough too, if you're very into the technical details of the Xbox One Scorpio and how its apparent CPU is going to work, there's a big dump on NeoGAF of a lot of differences between all these chipsets. So you can see where Xbox One Scorpio's supposed power will actually stack up. It's pretty interesting. I linked it down below as well as everything else we talk about this week. But of course, I think the biggest news to hit the block this week, am I right, is definitely the Nintendo Switch announcements. So, officially, March 3rd release date, $299 price point. Zelda Breath of the Wild is a launch game, which is really exciting. They also announced a new Mario game coming the holiday season that looks absolutely fucking bananas. I'm all about that. I want to run around like a fake New York City as Mario, even though it makes no sense. It's like that one time Sonic kissed a real human girl or whatever. None of it makes sense in my brain. The city is also called New Donk City. I don't know what is happening, but I hope this stacks up to something like Super Mario Galaxy in terms of gameplay and world style. But I think what really sold a lot of people is the Breath of the Wild trailer. That is a damn good trailer. But we have to talk about the actual Switch itself, because let's be real, not a lot of launch games. Doesn't look too pretty. I think ultimately with the Switch, this is the first time I've seen a lot of mixed opinions out there, and you know, the underpoweredness aside, the control options and the portability, it seems like people are excited about the hardware, but the software just isn't really quite there yet. Now that could go one of two ways. It can go the way of the Wii U, where it bombed and nobody really held on because the hardware was boring. Or number two, they could learn from that and then eventually it could grow, like when the 3DS first launched and it was kind of like an iffy failure. It eventually climbed its way out and then the 3DS became awesome. I really hope that happens with the Nintendo Switch. Of course, Nintendo being Nintendo though, all pre-orders sold out absolutely immediately overnight. It was pretty chaotic. I did manage to snag one, which made me feel a little suspicious because they didn't go that quickly. Also, Nintendo was really doubling down during their presentation on more family and community playing, with the Joy-Con controllers playing little separate motion mini games, which I know most of us really don't want anymore. I'm really curious to see where this goes because everyone is so mixed on it. I'm cautiously optimistic. I can't wait to get my hands on one. I know you guys probably think I'm like way too positive about everything, but I am looking forward to hearing what you guys are thinking. Also, you know, there's not enough time to talk about everything from the announcement. There's a lot of cool JRPGs that they announced that I would love to talk about. We did work on a video, 10 things you need to know from these new announcements that we'll be putting up. But for now, we gotta move on. Something that caught my eye, and basically this is a public service announcement, apparently, and you can't really verify this because the game isn't out yet, but apparently Horizon Zero Dawn's full story ending has actually been leaked. It popped up on 4chan, which you could go one way or another, but they have, you know, gotten some leaks before. So that's just a heads up to you. That's it. That's a word to the wise. If you're really sensitive about spoilers, definitely steer clear.
Long time ago, like society.
That's really fucking cool, yeah. Also, is she hot or what? We
I
have
think so.
decided that she's hot? Okay. Also, something that caught our eye, we have to talk about this little indie game. It's popped up on Steam now. It's called Nefarious, and basically you play as the boss. That's the whole game. It flips like a traditional classic style game on its head, and you're in charge of capturing the princess. You're in charge of piloting the big spaceship that you got to shoot at with the hero. And it seems really cool. I don't know if it can keep it going for an entire game. It's a very hard concept to stretch out. But if they nail it, it looks awesome. It looks like it definitely emulates real boss battles from classic games. Like there's a part there, it looks like it's Dr. Robotnik with his little ball thing. That was just on my radar and I wanted to put it on yours because I like weird ideas like that. But it looks like we have got some new information about Mass Effect Andromeda. One of the BioWare designers took to NeoGAF to dump a little bit of info about everybody's favorite topic, the frame rate and the resolution the game is running at. Oh boy, here we go. And with the current state of consoles, it's pretty much exactly what you would expect. On PS4, Mass Effect Andromeda will run at 1080p 30 frames per second, while Xbox One will be at 90p 30 frames per second. That's unfortunately what is kind of the standard for these consoles right now. Now, I'm curious to see what you guys, if you have the chance to play it on different consoles, which are you gonna play it on? Of course, the PC version they said will have an unlocked frame rate, but I'm very curious to see if the PC version isn't going to be a shitty port because we've been getting a lot of those lately for AAA games. No word yet though on how this is gonna be affected by a PS4 Pro. And it's some very good news, honestly, I'm really happy about it. If you were lucky enough, and lucky, it's okay, to get your hands on an NES Classic, it's actually been hacked and you can add more games to it. Thankfully, it's a fairly straightforward hack and you don't have to physically open the machine and change anything at all. This is completely based through the USB data port in the back. It is a little tricky. There's a lot to do. There's some step-by-step instructions that we did link down below. And you can basically double the amount of games on it because honestly, there are some missing areas of games on the standard lineup that could have been included, and it's cool that now it can be hacked and added. I didn't try this with mine yet, but if you did, let me know how it went.
Slow news week, huh?
Yeah, except for the big stuff.
Yeah.
The news week was what?
Did we talk about the Nintendo Switch?
Did we? Also, better late than never. If you do care, I did finish my list of my top 10 games of 2016, my personal choices on my personal channel because video games. I linked it down below. It's also going to pop up as an annotation at the end of the video. If you want to check it out, I'll see you over there. But we do have to talk about our giveaway that we do every single week. You know the deal. There's a link below. You click it to sign up. You enter once. You entered forever. And then every single week I go in, close my eyes, and randomly choose one winner to win a free console of their choice. This week's winner is going to be this cat right here. Be sure to check your inbox and check your spam. I'm also following up with some previous winners, one or two that I haven't heard back from. But that's it for this week, guys. I gotta go work on some Nintendo Switch videos, whether you like it or not. But we gotta talk about the stuff going on this week first and foremost, the Nintendo Switch. How do you really feel about it? We gotta talk about this thing. What game on it are you looking forward to the most? There's not a lot, but there's gotta be at least one there that might tickle your fancy. Also, how do you feel about Scalebound? Scalebound was always mixed from the beginning, but as someone with an Xbox One, I really wanted to play it, and I'm pretty bummed that it's canceled. I just really hope they don't cancel Crackdown 3, Jesus Christ. And one question, if you have something like the NES Classic, and you did hack it, if you could add one Nintendo game, what would you add? Mine would actually be the RoboCop game for NES. It's weird, it's a nostalgia thing. But what game would you add to that lineup if you could? Let's talk about any of this stuff down in the comments. I'll also be on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram talking to you guys as well. But you guys know the deal. Thank you so much for coming around and watching every week. Clicking the like button does still help us out. We really appreciate it. And after this, a little animated thing with a little ugly animated version of myself and everybody is gonna pop up. And you can click subscribe over there if you're new. But anyway, I'm Jake Baldino. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Pizza's on me. Yeah, that's right. I said it again.